Wow, what a Sunday the Broncos have at Mile High. It's the Green Bay Packers. The pack is back, baby. Um, let's just hope they're not too back. They're coming into town. Colum and I are going to give you all our picks. We are going to tell you all about the Broncos and the Packers game coming up tomorrow. This is a big one, guys. Probably not a must-win column, but it's an important game, right? Because we are neck and neck with those pesky Pats, and we need every game we can get.
It's a massive game, and it's a massive game for the Broncos. It's a massive game for the Patriots in the race to number one. And what isn't being talked about, Mike, is that it is a big game for the Jacksonville Jaguars, because if the Broncos and the Patriots, despite sitting atop the AFC, are both underdogs at home this weekend, if if both of those teams were to lose and the Jags were to beat those New York Jets, then the Jags would be playing for a shot at the number one when they roll into Denver next week. So there is a lot on the line. It's all to play for as we approach the latter stages of this NFL season.
And these are the Jets that you took in your pick last week, right? I just want to make sure that's the same Jets.
Those same Jets. So I think that probably tells you, the Jags, you imagine, should get it done.
I think the Jags will get it done. Yeah, and we'll get into all that, guys. We're going to get into before we do that, we are going to get into this massive Packers game. Packers coming into town, looking to hang on to what they've got going over in the North. They currently lead the North. I don't know if it's a half game over Chicago or how that works, but neck and neck. So they need this game. They don't generally win in Denver, I guess, is some of the good news. So hang with us. We're going to give you those picks. We're going to give you a little bit of background on this game. I know Colum's going to have his negative Nancy takes, but don't worry. I'm going to take care of you. I got Broncos country's back. All you guys in the chat, make your picks, comment below, please. Let us know who you think's going to win and why. We'd love to hear what you've got to say, because we're going to show you all our picks before the end of the show. So let's get into this game a little bit. Colum, these two teams, although different in a lot of ways, they're kind of similar on the stat board a lot. Points per game, they're within a point. Yards per game, they're within 2 yards a game. Now, time of possession, they're virtually tied. They play kind of the same game. Where the differences come in are two, I think, important stats. One is sacks, of course. The Broncos at 55 sacks, leading the league. The Packers are no slackers, as they say. They have 33 sacks. And of course, they have a certain player that we're going to have to deal with. And we've got some injuries too. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Do you see this as a close game? I know Vegas has the Packers favored at home. Mm-hmm. So a good friend of the show, Gary, told me in a message, he said it was like a 6-point spread. And I think what he's talking about, Colum, is that Broncos at home should automatically get a 3-point home field advantage, if you pay attention to any of that stuff. And then they're favored by 2.5. So then it's 5.5 points favored. I don't know. Slap in the face to the Broncos, I guess. Packers are better according to Vegas, obviously. What are your thoughts on that? Like, as close as these teams are they that close to each other? Should we be looking for a close game here, or are you seeing this going a different way?
Well, look, I think there has been national media skepticism around the Broncos all year, and clearly Vegas is buying into that as well, because this is a Broncos team on a 10-win winning game streak, 11-2 record, unbeaten at home all year, and yet they are underdogs. So both Vegas and national media do not think it is sustainable. They look at the comebacks and the grit and think, nah, you're not going to be able to keep doing that. So this is a great opportunity for the Broncos to shut up the national media, to change the narrative, and to prove that they can go toe to toe with an elite team. Look, the Packers are NFL royalty, given the history there. And I suppose for them, it is an opportunity to go on the road to one of the best teams in the AFC and to duke it out and to see, can they showcase they want to go to a Super Bowl? They want to showcase that. And guess what, Mike? If Jordan Love was to really show out, he might shoehorn his way into the MVP race, because
for heaven's sakes, here we go.
He could do. So that I think, look, there's loads to look forward to in this. You've listed, some of the pieces, and I think that is worth noting. We've got the fact that Mike McGlinchey popped up on the injury report. That's an issue when you've got Micah Parsons. I think the other piece, though, is Josh Jacobs is there. And Josh Jacobs has never lost to the Denver Broncos. He is a Broncos killing machine. Hopefully, I hate seeing any player injured, but I gotta say, I would not be at all adverse to seeing Josh Jacobs not take to the field tomorrow.
I don't think anybody in Broncos country is going to be sad if Josh Jacobs sits this one out. He has, when he was with the Raiders, it was pretty bad. Now, your elite Packers are 9-3-1, and they lost to the Cleveland Browns, where your MVP candidate had 183 yards and Jacobs had 30 yards. So they're not, but that was early in the season, so I'm just kind of playing around here a little bit. So they tied Dallas at 40 apiece in that wild game. In Dallas, 40-40, just crazy overtime game. They also dropped to Carolina, which is a surprisingly tough team, or has been this year. They can be. And then they lost to the Eagles, who the Broncos beat. Now, that doesn't mean the Broncos are better than the Pack by any means, because we beat a common opponent, but it does show you that at least earlier in the year, the Pack was kind of an average team. But lately, I do have to give it to you. They are on a 4-game win streak versus the Broncos. I'm sorry, Colum, could you repeat how many games it is that we won? Did I hear that right?
We're 10 on the bounce.
10. Okay. I was just checking. It's 10 games. Okay. So we're on a 10-game win streak, and these elite Packers have won 4 in a row, where they beat New York Giants in a 1-score game. They beat Minnesota, and I don't even know who was playing quarterback in that game. Now they've got 2 good wins in a row. So here's where it gets scary, because if I'm going to be able to sit here and tell Broncos country how the Broncos are getting hot at the right time and peaking, I better recognize that the Packers are doing the same. They handily beat Detroit, I thought. Shows a 1-score game, but I thought that game was pretty well in hand for a lot of that game. Maybe I'm wrong. And then a real tough game, just a great battle. One of the better games of the year against Chicago Bears at home last week, 28-21, brings them to 9-3-1. Love, again, he's kind of doing, it looks like they're sticking to their ground game, although it's kind of weird, Colum. It looks like Love finds a receiver in a game and then just abuses whoever the one guy who's getting the matchup that he likes. So, for instance, in the Detroit game, Love he had 234 yards passing, and Jacobs had his 83 yards, which is about what he has been getting the last couple weeks. But so out of the 234 yards, Wicks, their wide receiver, had 94 of those. And then in the next game, he had 234 yards. Again, same in Chicago. And Watson had 89 yards of that. So nearly half of his yards are going to one receiver. So I guess my question to you is this a pick on Moss game? Is this they're going to find a way to isolate someone? Will the Broncos go to man coverage, which they love to do? If the pass rush isn't getting there, it seems like Love could find a receiver that he can count on, and then he'll just use that guy until they stop it.
That's going to be really interesting, and this was a piece, that the national media has been talking about. I think it's been
watch the national media column. That
it's been a bad season for the national media and their narratives, and another bad week for them in terms of what's been said about Bo Nix. Now, look, I think you can get bias and you can get obsession with narratives and talking points and people sticking to their guns despite evidence in both local and national media. But we've seen it a lot with national media in the Broncos. But Benjamin Solak was on the Minute Kimes podcast this week, and they were talking about this, right? The Packers shred man defense, and particularly over the last month, they've been really, really good. So they wondered aloud, will Vance Joseph move towards more zone? But I think it was Solak who kind of said, if you're Vance Joseph and you're looking at what the Packers did against the Bears and the Lions, you're going to say, yeah, but our corners are so much better, and therefore we should be able to hold up. So I think it will be very interesting in that respect. I don't think the Broncos will go too much away. I hope they don't. Your identity is your identity. You change it a little bit to keep people off balance. But I would like us to, I think, stick to our guns. But yeah, the Packers, I suppose, unlike Sean Payton, tends to be a head coach, and his offensive game plans like to spread the ball out. The Packers, if they find a weakness, they go back to it again and again and again and again. So here's hoping that Riley Moss's boxing gloves training that he has been undertaking over the last while, that's going to be really important, right? Because they're going to look to utilize that, and I suppose the thing is they've got some of their wide receivers back, and those guys are healthy. The Jacobs piece is a huge piece because he is such a good runner. Now the thing is, if he isn't there, the backup is Emmanuel Wilson. Who once upon a time was on the Broncos. Went undrafted in the 2023 draft, was picked up the Broncos, but didn't stick around for more than a couple of days. But he is a guy who, over the course of his career, averages just above 4 yards a carry. Let me tell you, that is something the Broncos would like to have, and that's their backup running back. So they'll definitely look to test and find weakness. But I think way too much has kind of been read into the Raiders game. I think that Raiders game was a glorified preseason game, Mike. I think we had that in hand all game long last week. We marched up and down the field. We held the ball. We gave the defense a bit of a rest. I'd still like to see us get the penalty pieces cleaned up. But you've got kind of a focus in the national media on the Broncos not putting up a huge number of points. I think they looked at that. They thought, look, this is a division matchup. We just want to get this done. We've got to get out of here. And the other thing is, when a team has got nothing to lose, sometimes that's where somebody can be a loose cannon. You pick up injuries in that sort of way, and that can be a real problem. But look, there is no doubt they are going to test the Broncos defense. It's good to see DJ Jones back, and Pat Surtain will have more, another game under his belt after returning from injury. But this is strength against strength, and the key matchup, the key to the entire game, I think, is going to be the fact that this is the number 1 third down offense against the number 1 third down defense, and whoever edges that battle, that's going to dictate this game.
Yeah. Pass rush is going to have to show up today. I think Jaquan McMillan is another one that's going to have to show up today, just by virtue of the fact that, like I said earlier, Love will he'll find one guy and use him. If you just look at his top 3 receivers, I'll even count his top 4 receivers, and I know there's been some injuries, so this could sway that a little bit, but all these guys are around 400 and 500 yards on the season, so they're it's not like they're dependent on just one guy. So this could be it's gonna be a real test for VJ and that defense. I don't know if necessarily the pass rush has to come from the edges. I think as long as we get some pressure with DJ Jones, being back is nice. But if Zach Allen can get involved and get some pressure up the middle, we'll see if the backfield can hold up against these guys. I think they will. I think they can. My key would be more about the run game. And I like what you said. Even if Jacobs doesn't play, don't sit back, Broncos country, and think, okay, well, we got the run game covered. No, not at all. This Wilson guy can run the ball. He's actually averaging more yards per carry than Josh Jacobs. So the run defense will certainly have to show up. On the flip side of the field, since we've been talking about your Packers the whole game, let's talk about my Broncos a little bit. Some interesting developments. Mike McGlinchey, questionable. That's a big one when you're staring across the, on the other side of the line of scrimmage at Micah Parsons. They're going to go after that side if McGlinchey's out. I don't know if they'll try and get Prentice to help out or what they'll do. But this is going to be also a big test for Sean Payton and the offense. And probably to some extent for Bo Nix, although I think he's going to play well. He's been playing well, just like Lev. He's gotten better and better as the season has gone on. But if he's got Micah Parsons in his face every 2.2 seconds, that could be an issue for the Broncos too. So it's not just about what the Packers can do, it's what the Broncos can do. So I guess my question to you would be, and maybe I should have given you a heads up of where I was going with this, so you could have brought something up in front of you. But RJ Harvey, I know you called the Raiders game a preseason game. Oh my gosh. Why do I even let you talk about the Broncos, you Broncos hater? We dominated those Raiders. I hate the Raiders.
We did, but you can't take the Raiders seriously.
And we should.
You can't. I message you. This is the worst tackling team I have ever seen. You cannot. If you're the Raiders, you cannot keep Pete Carroll around. It's ridiculous.
He's got to go.
Those guys were on the beach. They were already in Cancun. You cannot take them seriously. That's why I'm pleased to see it. I thought it was great to see Bo Nix go over 80%. I talked to you about that in the last couple of weeks. Bo didn't have a game where he was over 80% completions. I wanted to see that. We did see that. I want to see that level of consistency. I think that is key to the way in which NFL games are played now. And RJ Harvey had a nice game. Now we need to see him do it against an actual NFL team
that's the thing. Yeah, I agree. And I'm look.
I mean, they're a JV side. They're a JV side.
Yeah, I think I might have even titled this "Running with the Pack." That's a old callback from an old guy from a band called Bad Company. But can RJ run against this defense? Now, I didn't do a deep dive into the Packers here. So I'm not sure how susceptible they are to the run. But Bo Nix and RJ Harvey, I think, are kind of joined at the hip on this game. They both need to play pretty good ball. Let's just say pretty good football to give the defense a chance, our defense a chance to win the game. Let's keep that time of possession in our favor at home. I don't want to see. I think Tanner said it earlier. Shout out to Tanner. Where are we at here? Exactly. So this is exactly the point I'm making. Like if we end up getting one dimensional, where we're depending on Nix to do it all or the run game to do it all, the Packers are going to try and shut down one of those. Now my guess is they will, they'll follow the national narrative on Nix and they'll shut down the run and try and get Nix to beat them. RJ's got to have a good game here. So I don't care if it was against the JV Raiders or the LV Raiders. That pun was intended. I really wish that joke would have hit better. The JV Raiders. I'm going to work on that one, guys. Doesn't matter if it was against them. He looked good to me. Stats and eye test. I thought he ran very hard, even between the tackles. Colum, I don't know if I brought this up with you, but he went up against 13 stacked boxes in that game and had 10 successful runs against 13 stacked boxes. Now, the last person to have anything like that was Derrick Henry in 2022. So regardless, it's still an NFL game. RJ played well. If McGlinchey's there and healthy, can Harvey semi-replicate what he did against your Raiders? Can he do that?
If you're a Broncos fan, you're hoping you can, but the reality is this is a steep step up. The Packers are top 10 in run defense, but we're gonna learn so much about the Broncos, and we're gonna learn so much about RJ Harvey in the next couple of weeks because he's got the top 10 run defense against the Packers, and then he's got the number 1 rushing defense in the league rolling to town next week with the Jags. Yeah, he the Packers defense is serious business, Mike, and they're top 10 in both passing defense and in rushing defense combined. In terms of total defense, they are 5th in total defense. Yeah. The Broncos are 3rd behind the Texans and the Browns. Obviously, the Broncos' strong point tends to be the ability to get to the QB. We do that better than absolutely anybody else. But the Packers do not give up yards after the catch. So that will be an interesting one because Sean Payton tends to like plays that have yards after the catch. So I am intrigued to see how we approach it. But look, RJ last week averaged, almost, well, not quite doubled, but was a proper NFL running back. I mean, this was
for sure.
He averaged 4.4 per carry. He was good out of the backfield as well. Like the weeks prior to that were the concerning ones because he hadn't gone over 3 yards per carry. So hopefully they've figured out McGlinchey's injury is a real problem though, because he's so good in the run game and our O-line has been really, really good. It's tough to know. All I've seen mention of it was that it was a shoulder injury, but there hasn't really been an indication of how serious it is, what it might mean. And we might get more clarity on that today, although Sean Payton is notoriously stingy. His teams provide what is necessary and what is necessary only. So we may not find out anymore, but that's a key to it. But I think the we'll see, because talked about it last week. I wanted to see them bring in a big bruiser. They didn't. Sean Payton has a prototype. They did bring somebody in, but he looks like a cookie cutter model of what the rest of the backfield already is. So it's still going to be RJ. But look, Sean Payton trusts him. He's Sean Payton's guy. He did it last week. We will see.
If I don't have it in front of me, but RJ had 17 carries, I believe, for 75 yards, and he tacked on 25 yards on top of that. 100 yard all purpose day.
Mm-hmm.
But with 17 carries, I've been saying for a while that RJ needs at least 22 carries a game, and if he gets 22 carries in this game, the Broncos are winning. And for your incredible Green Bay Packers, I don't know if the Chicago Bears, maybe they're a really good rushing team, but the Chicago Bears had 138 yards of rushing against them last week. So it's not an impossible goal to clear, to have a effective running game against them. But we've delayed it long enough. Let's see if we can. Let's pick these games.
Yeah.
Calm now. I want you to know, and everybody watching, normally when we do our picks, we just, I don't know if we come to a consensus or whatever, we make picks. This week, can you see, is my mouse on the screen? Does that show?
I'm not. Yeah, there we go.
All right. So here we go. So this week we're gonna pick all these games, and we're gonna pick the Packers Broncos last. So you suckers watching, you have to stick around, and you please like and subscribe. I can't even tell you how much it means to me. Just past 1,500 subscribers this weekend.
Yeah, kudos you, Mike, on getting to 1,500. Seriously impressive.
Hey, it's like top 8% of all of YouTube or some crap like that. So that's why stats are so weird. We're going to pick all these. Now, here's what I did, guys. My picks are hidden. I have a whole, my column is here. I've already made my picks. So we're going to get our individual picks, and then you guys let us know who's right and who's wrong in the comments. But Colum, let's start at the bottom of this rung here with, this somebody's got to win it game between the Giants and the Commanders. And we don't have to deep dive on all these, but let's run through them. Who you got? You got the Giants at home with the Commanders coming in. They played us really well, but again, that's not a good sign because everybody else seems to be kind of whipping up on them. So is Jackson Dart playing? Are the Commanders winning this game? What do you see here?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Because the Commanders showed up, obviously, when they played the Broncos, and then last week they were horrific.
Yeah,
truly terrible. But the Giants just do not seem to be able to get out of their own way. I really like. I think Jackson Dart looks like a decent young QB. Scatterboo, before he got injured, looked really fantastic. They made a mistake in bringing Dable in. I'm going to say because it's the Giants and because they seem to sabotage themselves and they should be going for the number 1 pick, I'm going to say the Giants find a way to win this.
Oh, I almost
in spite of themselves. They shouldn't win it. They don't want to win it, but because of that, they will win it.
Well, I really like Jackson Dart too. I like those. First of all, I always love young quarterbacks coming in, and because it's just so interesting to see. You never know if the NFL hasn't figured it out. And Colum, you can see the next game we're coming to here. Get ready for Jags Jets while I yammer on here a little bit. But like, I love watching like Shador and Jackson Dart and Shuck, right? With I hope I pronounced that right, at the Saints. Like, I always get a little jazzed up for these. I can't help but root for them because first of all, for what Broncos fans went through all these years, when you get your rookie, aka Bo, Drew Lock, when Drew Lock came, it's much better and more exciting Okay, I take back. It's much more exciting than going and grabbing Teddy Bridgewater or somebody like that. It just feels like he's a Bronco. Jackson Dart is a giant. Like he's just this kid running around playing pretty good football. I feel good. I'm happy for the Giants that they have him, and I would love to see the Giants win that game. You hope is such a great thing for NFL fans. Let's look at this Jaguars Jets game, and I think this might be an impactful game for the Broncos. The Jaguars are like very much in the mix in the AFC, especially with the Colts, who are starting my granddad actually at quarterback maybe this week. Jacksonville and the Texans are going to be in a bit of a battle. Your Jets, though, your second favorite team apparently. You giving them a shot in this, or is this all Jags? I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and you tell me why.
This is
Jags at home.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a massive, it's a talent mismatch, it's a motivation mismatch. The Jags are good on defense, and I think they have a very good head coach in Liam Cohen, even if Trevor Lawrence hasn't delivered in the way that people expected. But yeah, they're winning this. They're going 10-4.
Yeah, I agree, Tanner. I said Sean making up the injury to get Parsons on McGlinchey. Boy, would that be nice. And boy, would that be illegal. You know what? The league already hates Sean Payton for calling him out so many things. My God, if he did something like that, it would be a $10 million fine and a 2-year suspension. Like, they hate Sean Payton. So
if anyone's got bingo, we've now had a mention of Drew Lock and Sean Payton illegality. We are very close to the full house here.
We're almost there. I think the people watching on our Spin Zone channel, thank you for watching, by the way, probably expect that sort of behavior out of us more than the monster show here. But Colum, a surprising Panthers team heading down to a Saints team with another now Shuck, he's a rookie this year, right? Like, I've lost track.
Yeah,
but
Tyler Show. So
he's got some. You called him Show. We call him Shuck. We call him Shuck here. Rhymes with tuck or suck or puck, but that's the way it's pronounced here. So it is. Do we have a confirmation on that? I'm going to look that up while you tell me. I would have. I don't know. I don't remember who I picked on this game, Colin. Who's going to win this? Saint. Looks like it's at the Saints.
Yeah. So Saints, crazy end to the high school football season down there in Louisiana. I don't know if anyone watching has seen that, but if not, you should check out the way in which that ended. And there was a game in the Superdome maybe yesterday. But for this, the Saints got a surprise win last week. They have an Irishman kicking for them now. But the Panthers, with the Bucks losing on Thursday night, Mike, to the Falcons, the Panthers have a chance to take a hold of the NFC South, and I think they will take advantage of that. They still need an awful lot of work on their roster, but they are maximizing, I suppose, what they have, and fair play to Dave Canales doing a stellar job with a less than stellar roster and an owner who has proven a meddler in his short time in the league. So I'm going to take the Panthers in this one.
Yeah, I made my picks last night. I was watching Pluribus on Apple Plus. Folks, if you haven't watched Pluribus, it's a little slow moving, but it's the craziest show I've ever seen. And just because I love you, Colum, and I love my Broncos, I sat there with my laptop, making my picks, doing my deep dives. A famous Carmelini stat deep diver. Nick Kendall would be so proud of me because I might even have looked up a couple stats. So I don't remember who I picked there. I'm guessing I picked Carolina there. It's going to be interesting to check our picks. And let me do a quick update if I can, bear with me. My producer is off for the weekend. Shuck. It is pronounced shuck. Shucking corn, luck, not cough or show. So look at Colum's face. He has never been outdone by Carmelini, and for the first time in our relationship, winner right here. Let's go.
You Americans with making
We make shit up. Yeah, we make shit up.
deciding that Colin is not Colin, and now apparently that is Shuck. Where's the K?
It comes from his family. What do you want from me? That's what he calls himself.
Good for
Who's
him.
to tell Tyler Bidet that his name is not Beatty?
It's not.
If he wants to be named after a device that cleans his backside, that's his right. You know what? We're Americans, Colum. We're free. We do what we want here.
Indeed.
No, we can call ourselves whatever we want over here.
Yes.
Moving on. Falcons. Now this is the game that already took place, right?
Yep.
So we're just gonna move.
Left Mike Evans in a very bad mood.
I'm gonna assume that you picked the Falcons in that one, just because you're gonna need all the picks you can get to keep up with Carmelini here. Probably an easy pick here. 49ers over Titans, Colum.
Yeah, I mean, this is one where the Titans, again, things just aren't, have not gone right at all, and more dysfunction in their local media this week, where they were kind of, a guy has been removed from the plane because he revealed what some of the players said towards Cam Ward last week.
Oh.
And 49ers coming off a bye, but I just don't see it as being a trap game. The 49ers going to win this.
All right. I'm not quite as sold on the 49ers as some, but I think they win that game too. I'm be very surprised if I didn't pick the 49ers last night. Steelers at home. Here come the Dolphins. A-Chain's playing. I think I read that somewhere. He's one of my favorite running backs in the NFL. Could that make a difference? Is this game... Well, you can't call it a trap game. The Dolphins are have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs. So if you're going to call the Kansas City Chiefs a, sleeper great team, here comes my Dolphins. Colum, what do you say? The Steelers take care of business at home against the Dolphins. What do you see happening here?
Yeah, so the Dolphins are out of the playoffs with a loss, like mathematically. I mean, they're not getting there, but mathematically they're out if they lose. Primetime game. Steelers got the win last week. Brings them closer to their inevitable 9-8 finish.
Right. Wait, so is this the Monday night game or something? Or
yeah, it is. It's the Monday night game. You were absolutely spot on last week about the Dolphins getting the win. I don't know. I both of these teams are so incredibly flaky. They could almost be Californian. But for
he's all the way from Ireland. He dunks on California. I love it.
I'm gonna say just go against it because they shouldn't do it. But you know what? Mike McDaniel and his no socks are going to get the win.
Oh my gosh. He goes for it. I love it. I love that pick. Colum, have you been drinking? Well, what time is it over there?
It's 20 to 7.
Oh, dude, this is like you're just getting your night started. You guys are probably going to get dressed up and go out tonight. Hit the pub for a pint. God, I got to work on my Irish accent. Cincinnati Bengals, the resurgent Cincinnati Bengals with an unhappy, wonderfully gifted quarterback. Ravens are a weird team. What are they? 6-7, something like that. 7-6. I don't have that.
6-7. Yeah.
Yeah. Playing in Cincinnati. What do you got here?
Yeah, a really interesting week for Joe Burrow, where he appeared to have an existential crisis in the
Yeah.
middle of that press conference. Though, if I was dealing, if where my place of work had the same ownership as the Bengals, and I had to go through winter in Ohio, I would probably feel similar. But he is playing fantastically well, and the Ravens look, oh, let's see. I don't know what exactly is wrong there, but there's clearly big problems. The Bengals beat the Ravens. All ends up on Thanksgiving. I don't know if they'll do that again, but I don't think the Ravens are going to get it right. And I'm got the Bengals getting to 5-9.
You know what we should do? Next time we do this, I'm gonna make my picks, and then I'm gonna make your picks off to the side of what I think you're gonna do. See, it's gonna be a how well do I know Colum Cronin? And
Yes.
it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like I could do well, actually, maybe not. It'll be a fun exercise. We're gonna see how close we can get. I wish we could get we'll have to find a way to get everybody to make Colum's picks and see who can come closest to Colum's picks. Let my wife make picks too next year, and then watch how she'll beat us, knowing absolutely nothing about football.
Mhm.
Philadelphia Eagles at home. Another one of our victims playing another one of our victims. This is the Broncos victim game. Obviously, you're picking the Eagles here. The Raiders are in shambles. The Broncos fired Hackett and basically fired Hackett and Russ when they were this bad. I mean, they've got to make some changes.
If the Raiders win it, the city of Philadelphia will make the Salem witch trials look tame.
There's nobody watching this show that remembers the Salem witch trials or even knows that history. This is America. Okay. We don't do that, Colum. I need you to zone in here. You got the Eagles here. What are your thoughts on Hurts? Jalen Hurts he's been an up and down year, but mostly a down year. Somehow when the NFL narrative labels you as an MVP candidate and a top 5 quarterback, top 3 quarterback, inevitably this is what happens. You're proven wrong and wrong again, and then they hang on to that narrative, just like they do with Bo Nix, except the opposite way. They call him a piece of crap, and they refuse to acknowledge anything he does. What are your thoughts on Hurts? I know your thoughts on Geno. You've got him as a top 10 quarterback, of course, like Benjamin Solik. But no, seriously, Hurts. Saquon looks like he was moving a little bit better last time. The last game I saw them, I think they blew that game against the Chargers. I'll never forgive them for that.
Yeah,
Hurts
they did.
with 4 or 5 interceptions. Come on. But what are your thoughts on Hurts? I guess have you been able to watch any of his games this year? Okay.
Yeah, I was like I always thought that the Hurts stuff was kind of extreme. The national media never really liked Hurts, given what had happened in college. I always thought it was crazy because fans get way too emotionally invested and wanted to, say that this guy was an incredible passer. He was Matthew Stafford-esque, and he was never that. I mean, he was good with his legs. They had a really good team, and he appeared to make good decisions. He's not able or not willing or whatever to use his legs as much. The team has regressed, the O-line has regressed, and he's making poor decisions. And one of the things that he was kind of always known for had been that he was a good leader. That appears to have disappeared this year. But statistically, when you see a huge regression in terms of completion percentage, like we have seen this year with him, that is a really worrying sign. Things clearly aren't right in Philadelphia. There's all sorts of tension there. But this is where, again, it's sort of one of those examples, I suppose, of teams give out these huge contracts to second contracts to QBs, and sometimes come to regret it. But he is like, his form has been, and his decision making have been really poor this season. But I think it's too extreme. He was never as good as Philly fans wanted you to believe. He was never as bad as the Filmies wanted you to believe either, because sometimes the Filmies refuse to look at what a QB can do, and they can get stuck in their narrative. So the truth is somewhere in the middle overall. But this year, looks really looks really poor.
It's a symptom of NFL media coverage. We put him in the Hall of Fame way too fast, and we put him on the hot seat way too fast. So probably that's it. Hurts falls somewhere in the middle. I'm a fan. But when I say that, that doesn't mean I think he's a top 3 quarterback, because I'm not crazy, and I'm not like engagement farming. I like this comment from Corey. Spread moved to 2.5. Corey, that's all I ever saw was 2.5. But maybe
I think some places, I was recording with Stuart for Dublin to Denver. He said it was 1.5, so maybe that was it. I don't, I get informed by others about these things.
Yeah, I'm with you. Green Bay winning by 2 and Denver covers, certainly very possible in this game, Corey. And it says hide and watch. I don't know if that means Corey's a Broncos fan and and he doesn't want to see it, but he's just being a realist. Tanner, last second missed field goal by McManus wins the game. Now that would be probably the absolute coolest outcome for the game. Funniest outcome for the game.
I think that's what our friend Zach Seegers had. He wanted it to be a last-second field goal from McManus, like 60 plus yards. McManus demands to take it.
Oh, the one that he demanded, and then he misses it. Oh my gosh, that would be nirvana. Chicago Bears, Browns coming to town. Shedeur Sanders, after throwing for 1 million yards and a few touchdowns, it's got Cleveland pretty hyped up, but the Bears need this win. Now the playoff picture we'll get into, but the Bears are gonna I think this is gonna be a really tough game. I think you're gonna take the Bears here for sure at home, but I don't think it's as clear cut as maybe we think. This could be a battle. It's 2 historic franchises, and regardless of their records, have both been playing. I've been kind of impressed with how hard both teams have been playing of late. What do you see here? I'm putting you down for the Bears, but you can take the Browns if you want me to change it. I can certainly do that.
Yeah, look, I think Shedeur has shown that he is a much better option at QB than Dylan Gabriel. Again, I might not be giving the guy that second, an enormous second contract just yet. Hey, remember, it's year 1. Again, we don't need to make decisions right now. Let's let these things play out. But I think Shedeur has done pretty well overall. You would have to say, with what he's had to work with there. The Bears are an interesting one. They could have had Caleb Williams made that throw last week. We could be talking about the Packers coming into Denver on a loss. I think the Bears have. Ben Johnson has done a great job in steadying the ship there, because they were in the wilderness for so long. Myles Garrett is obviously still looking. We talked last week, expected him to get more sacks than he did. I just think, motivation-wise, the Bears need to keep winning, in the NFC North. Like, say if the Broncos beat the Packers, this is a great opportunity for the Bears to retake the lead. So I think the Bears have more at stake. I think they're at home. I think they get it done. But I agree. I think this will be closer than maybe people might expect.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. This is some of these games this weekend are the reason why I fork out all that money for the NFL package, and I hate to do it, but um, we're going to get into on the Spin Zone,
Yes, we
our
are.
off-season show, guys. Check out NFL Spin Zone. We're going to get into a lot of this stuff, and one of those is how many freaking packages and subscriptions do you need to just watch NFL football? I mean, this should almost be like a right. Like it should just be your right, because the NFL has so much money, um, money to burn, and to have to pay $400 to watch NFL games and still need to have a subscription to Prime. I think Netflix now. Anyways,
Mhm.
we're not going to get into. I digress, guys. Check out Spin Zone with Colum and I. Houston Texans, the red hot Houston Texans at home, fighting for their playoff life. I like to root for the Texans. I like to root for the Jags because I don't want any way for the Kansas City Chiefs to sneak into the playoffs. I'm assuming here Arizona's a mess. They're going to Houston. I don't even know who's playing quarterback for them, Colum. Taking the Texans here, I assume.
Yeah, it will be Jacoby Brissett.
Okay.
Hey, another team regretting a massive second contract given to a QB. With what happens with Kyler Murray. But yeah, the Cardinals just don't have it to play for. The Texans need to keep winning given where the Jags are at. They're at home. The defense has been, lights out all year. Yeah, you've got to think that they will get it done.
Well, game of the week for some people coming up. We've got Seattle at home with the playoff hopeful Indianapolis Colts with the aforementioned Jags and Texans. Probably had Daniel Jones not gone down first with that fib and then apparently an Achilles, if I remember right, it would be a lot more interesting. I still don't think this game. I still think I would have taken the Seahawks here either way, but with 44-year-old Philip Rivers. My God, it took me a second just to remember his name. That's how long he's been out of the league for. 4 years, something like that. He's 44. He is now pushing back his Hall of Fame eligibility just to come in and play. So, when you got 16 kids, you got to put food on the table. So here comes Philip Rivers heading to the Seahawks. Now, of course, the Seahawks are going to win this game, Colum, or at least we wouldn't. There's never a known, but I know you're going to pick the Seahawks. But first of all, what are your thoughts on the Colts bringing in Philip Rivers? Was there no one else on the planet that could come in and play football for them? And okay, he played for the Chargers, so I'm supposed to hate him. I always admired Phillips for his feistiness, his competitiveness. I remember him and Cutler going back and forth on the field and stuff. Like, he plays the villain very well on the road, but his teams loved him, and he was a great, great quarterback. What are your thoughts on them bringing him back up, and of course, your thoughts on the Seahawks and the Colts game?
I see Tanner's got a comment there. He too is a Philip Rivers fan, and his trash talk is epic. Yeah, it is. What I will say is the greatest heckle I ever heard at a sporting event came when I was there in Denver, and the Broncos were playing the Chargers. It's a few years ago now, and the a heckle from the crowd. So people, I assume, know Philip Rivers, very Catholic in his approach to all aspects of his life. So am
I. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
go Catholics.
Do you have double-digit number of children, Mike
Carmelini? I do not. That's more of. I think that's more of a Amish thing or a Mormon thing. But Catholics, in where I live, my wife's family, they've got 12 kids in their family. So
yeah, well, so does Philip Rivers. So the game is going on, and they have a heckle comes from the sideline or towards the Chargers sideline, and it was just kind of that moment of silence. And next thing you heard a voice just say, "Philip Rivers doesn't read to his kids," and the whole Chargers sideline cracked up. And in fairness to Philip Rivers, he laughed too. He gave a thumbs up to the guy who had said it in the crowd. He was a good sport about it. Everybody laughed. It was just so perfect, you know. It's so look, I think it's a testament to how poorly QBs are developed now, Mike. Right, and the way in which it has gone. They have decided to go with with Rivers rather than anybody else, and trot him out there when he hasn't played in 5 years. So I also think, I mean, it's crazy. It demonstrates what happened with Daniel Jones. Also demonstrates the fact that when a player isn't on a long-term contract, teams will just throw him out there. Like, Daniel Jones should not have been playing with a broken fibula. I don't care what his friends made for him. That's why the Achilles went. And here we are. It's impossible to see how, after that long away, and Rivers looked old at the end of his career.
He did. I remember that.
You know, he was, again, he's such a competitor. I don't doubt that aspect of it, but time waits for nobody. And it doesn't matter what you do, your workout routine, your nutritional routine, none of that matters. Time comes for you. And the Seattle Seahawks are a very good team. You can ask questions of Sam Darnold and perhaps in the playoffs, but the reality is that regular season and with that defense, you know, they're going to get this done. And the Colts were wobbling even before Daniel Jones's injury.
True. I thought I was going to say that it was almost criminal what the front office did over there with the Colts, bringing Philip Rivers in. I don't even know the name of the kid that they were playing. But I would say whoever their third string or whatever backup quarterback was, that, you know, this is why having a good front office, a good general manager, a coach who, you know, maybe can walk into that office and say, "Hey man, we're loving what we're seeing from Daniel, but I would feel better with this is the reason why backup quarterbacks get paid so much, Colum, because you don't ever want to use them, but when you need them, occasionally a Brock Osweiler needs to come in and win 4 or 5 games for your team, and then you win a Super Bowl, and that's what can happen." Now, I do know that the Colts called the Broncos for Sam Ellinger, but he decided to stay with Denver. I don't know what the whole story is on that. I found that interesting.
On the backup QB piece and the Colts, are you familiar about the story about when Gruden? So remember when Gruden was coaching and then he took the hiatus to go on TV before he came back, before all the unpleasantness. So during his time on TV, they're going up there, and the TV guys, people may or may not know this, but the TV team tends to go up and they meet with the coaches and they talk to them and stuff. So he goes up. This is a good few years ago, and he notices that the like it's Peyton Manning is taking every single rep. Like every day he's there, Manning is just taking all the reps, and you see. Gruden asked Tom Moore, the OC, "Hey, how come Peyton's taking all the reps?" And Tom Moore says, if 18 goes down, we're effed.
I do remember that. Yeah.
And we don't practice effed.
I remember
So,
that. Yeah. Why
so
bother? Because if he goes down, we're effed. Yeah, I do
we're
remember that.
goosed. And that's, you got to hope that your backup can do something. But yeah, I would tend to agree, with that it is a bit of a slap in the face to bring a player back who's been away for that long. This isn't a guy who retired at the end of last year, who was everybody knew, and then he could come back in. He's been out of the game for years.
Yeah.
So it is, I think, just quite telling. But given the trades that they made, and they tried to go all in, I guess they're desperate, and desperate people do desperate things, and hence why we are where we are. But Mike, life is not a Disney movie, and I don't think this will end in like a Mighty Ducks movie.
I don't either. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I have a few friends. One of my really good friends is a Colts fan, has been for his whole life. It's got to be, it's just heartbreaking to see your team finally, doing something. They kind of came out of nowhere. In fact, the Broncos lost to the Colts, and that sort of heartbreaker. I believe that was the leverage call game where there was no time. The Broncos had won the game. But then the Colts got another kick based on a leverage call. It's the only one I've seen all year, and the Colts get the victory. So good on them. But it's not just sour grapes for me at all. I thought the Colts looked really good this year, and they were exciting to watch. Daniel Jones, again, it's another one of those where the right fit, the right coach, the right, a Sam Darnold thing. It's like if you put some of these guys, they just go to the wrong place. And it was nice to see Daniel Jones come out there playing well. And even though he was kind of falling off a little bit, he was still playing like a proper NFL quarterback. So we'll obviously we'll probably both take the Seahawks there. Now here's a huge game. We've got these top games. These remaining ones are the big ones, Colum. Starting with the Chiefs at home. They're clinging to a playoff thread. And here come the Chargers. So these are AFC West teams. The Broncos are going to be watching this game very closely. I know you will be. Hard one to call, or are you going Chiefs at home? What are your thoughts here?
It is a hard one to call, because the Chiefs have been so poor. You would have thought their backs were against the wall last week as well, and you would have thought you might have seen a bit more from them. But the Texans bullied them, and we haven't really seen that from the anybody do that to the Chiefs up to now, but they did. The Chargers got the win against the Eagles, and with one more loss, that's it for the Chiefs. I think they'll probably point to one score games and it going against them, and the bounce of a ball and stuff like that. But they are at home, and it is the Chargers, so I have to go with the Chiefs. I don't trust the Chargers. I don't care what position they found themselves up. The Chargers, you don't trust them. They are like Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. Some teams are just destined to disappoint, and I fear that will be the case. I would like to see the Chargers get it done. I would like to see the Chiefs be knocked out and them to have nothing at all to play for when we roll into Arrowhead on Christmas Day. But I think that they will find a way to do it, just because the Chargers are not the Texans. They're not us. They don't have the ability to get at the Chiefs in the same way, and it really is last chance saloon. So for that reason, I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah, I probably pick the Chiefs too. We're about to reveal how close ours I thought that game, that Chargers Eagles game was very frustrating for a Broncos fan. Just watching Hurts give that game away, so it's hard to tell. I thought Herbert looked. Uh, well, he's got the broken hand. He was incredibly pressured in that game, which says maybe the Chargers are a little more vulnerable. They're not getting any protection, but as Tanner points out, Chiefs have already ruled out 3 of their linemen for that game. Going to be a fun one. I'm not sure what the rooting stuff for us is as Broncos fans. I think a lot of people, that are not Broncos fans would say, yeah, you want the Chiefs to win to keep the Chargers. But no, you don't. You want the Chiefs gone. You don't want them in the playoffs. We can handle the Chargers. Somebody will handle the Chargers for us, but nobody needs to see the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs at all, as much as that breaks the NFL's little bitty beating heart. Colum.
Indeed. And just to add, I think Tanner asked, had I decided who was going to be my vibe check for the game tomorrow? I have not yet decided. So Tanner, if you have suggestions for who I should use, I am open to suggestions. It doesn't guarantee I will use them, but I am marinating in ideas. The ideas are percolating at the moment. So get them in, and maybe I'll decide to go with that.
Yeah. I love those. Love following those, and the dog Sundays or whatever it's called, right? That's
yes, the dog thread.
Dog thread. New England Patriots at 11-2, right there with the Broncos. Now this is a team that the Broncos would love to see lose. The Buffalo Bills certainly have been up and down this year, to say the least. But the Josh Allen's doing Josh Allen things again. I guess I can't remember who they played last week. That was kind of an exciting game. Then the Buffalo Bills looked like the Bills, and Josh Allen has a 40-yard touchdown run. There was snow, if I remember right. Like, this was just like, it's like classic football type. Really fun to watch. What are we going to see here? What are you expecting now? The Patriots, before I get too much word salady, because I hate that stuff. The Patriots have had, and before I say this, don't kill me, because I am on the Patriots side when it comes to their record. That's an amazing record, an amazing accomplishment. I don't care who you play in the NFL. It's still, that's impressive. But they haven't really played. They have had even for Broncos standards schedule, the Patriots have had kind of an easy go. This is going to be a very tough test for them, I think, with Buffalo coming to town. Colum, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it was the Bengals for the Bills last week, and yeah, it was the Josh Allen show. But look, the Patriots they're 11-2, Mike, and they have right now, I would say, the guy who is at the forefront of the MVP race in Drake May. And they have, they've found ways to win games when, they a bit like the Broncos, maybe many thought that they wouldn't be able to come back. I agree. I can see what you're saying in relation to the schedule that they have, but this is the opportunity for them to reclaim the AFC East, because with a win, they will clinch the division and they will end Buffalo's 5-year reign. So there is huge motivation, and you can be sure that, Mike Vrabel will have the Patriots ready for the arrival of the Buffalo Bills. But you can be ready for Superman. When he arrives, you've got to figure out a way to stop him. And Josh Allen is Josh Allen. He may not win it this year, but he is the best quarterback right now in the NFL because he can beat you with his legs, he can beat you through the air. Yes, he flops. That's a really annoying characteristic of him, but he is phenomenal, and for that reason, the Buffalo Bills are going to make the New England Patriots sweat, and they're not going to give up. They're going to get up off the canvas, and they're going to take it to another round because they're not going to want the Patriots to clinch the division with a win over them.
Yeah, I think that's the way this game plays out. I see the Buffalo Bills coming in there, and it's tough, when you do shows like this, Colum, and you talk about enough football. I will never pretend to not be just an incredibly huge Broncos fan. You know my history. I grew up with the Broncos. I'm a Broncos. Just a diehard Broncos fan. It is okay to compliment another player. Okay, it doesn't mean you are a Bo Nix hater to look at what Drake May is doing, and I just don't know how you can, if you've watched him play, actually watched him play. The New England Patriots have got something there. The AFC is stacked with quarterbacks. It just this. Talk about great times to be a fan of an AFC team. I mean, there's just a bunch of most of the good quarterbacks or the best quarterbacks are in the AFC. So, and a few of them are in the AFC West. So I agree with you on that pick. I think that's we're certainly hoping for it. The Patriots are tied with the Broncos at 11-2. The Broncos hold the tiebreakers against. All we have to do is finish the regular season with the same record as the New England Patriots. If we do that, the Broncos are going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC West, and those implications are massive for this team. Colum, probably the game of the week. Again, the Vikings and the Cowboys. I'm going to put Cowboys over here for you, just in case. If I'm wrong, I'll delete it. But
no, you're not in this instance. I think that the Vikings got it done last week, but this Cowboys team have the ability to put up points. Now against the Lions, we all saw George Pickens, who clearly just didn't want to be there. And Jerry Jones can try and defend that as much as he wants, but we all saw it. It was there on.
We saw what he's been doing since then.
So. I mean, it's quite something because all the talent in the world, but just does not seem interested at times. And but they still they're at home, and this is a Vikings team that has just they've been a little bit up and down, and this is the disappointment bowl, right? I would say, right? The Cowboys at least have some Lombardis in that they can look back on the grainy footage from the past and remember what the glory days were like. The Vikings don't even have that. The Vikings are just destined to forever disappoint the Minnesota fan base. They find new ways to lose games. It is truly incredible. I don't think they'll have enough to stop this Cowboys team in the way that they were able to stop the Commanders. And I think the Cowboys should have enough.
I agree. You're right. When you call it the disappointing bowl, man, I was like, really? But gosh, you watch this Cowboys team who look like they had something going. They've got Dak, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They've got they're finding ways to win. They're having quality wins. And the next thing you look up and they're 6-1. So, they're just and not really in the playoff race right now. So I think the Cowboys win this game. I hope that's what I picked over there. If I didn't, I will be surprised. Now, here's spoiler alert, Los Angeles Rams, probably my number 1 team on the, power rankings or whatever. They've got the Lions coming in who are a bit of they're a bit schizophrenic. Like, I don't know what to expect from the Lions week to week. What do you see here? I assume you'll take the Rams at home.
I mean, for the you got to feel a little bit for the Lions. You know, they're fighting for their lives. They lost both coordinators. They made a change to the play caller mid-season. We've seen them, you know, score points. We've seen them really struggle at times. They were brought back a club or a team legend, only for it to transpire that he had a massive injury. I don't know how that all transpired. I don't know what happened. But this should be a great matchup, right? Because the Lions present a different sort of challenge for this Rams defense. And I would agree with you. I think right now the reality is the Rams are the best team in the NFL. That does not mean that they will win the Super Bowl. But
no, of course not.
They look like the best team. They have a QB playing absolutely phenomenally. They have a head coach who's very innovative and creative and who calls a great game. It's just tough to see the Lions do enough. I would like to see them do it because I think given the way Dan Campbell goes about his business, the playoffs are better when the Detroit Lions under Dan Campbell. I mean, Detroit was the factory of sadness for so long, and Dan Campbell totally changed that. And I would like to see them continue to fight. I think that they can do it. And while my head says that the Rams are going to do it, I'm going to say that Dan Campbell needs to get a win. Dan Campbell can get a big performance out of his team. And I think the Detroit Lions are going to go in to LA, and I think they are going to find a way to get it done. And that may end up meaning the Seattle Seahawks get the number 1 seed. But you know what? No, the Rams are going to ruin people's playoffs because they are going to be a nightmare.
Oh, well, I love it. I finally missed one. Maybe that was the second one. I had you down for the Rams there real quick. I jumped the gun on that one. I love that pick. Folks, do not bet money on any of our picks. We do not endorse or claim
unless you are trying to lose money. If you are actively trying to lose money, then maybe
by all means. Yes.
But if you value your money, do not listen to us and listen to us for entertainment. Do not listen to us for betting.
Oh gosh. Now we talked about the Broncos and Green Bay. Spoiler alert, Green Bay is my NFC team, my secret crush. So I like both of these teams. You're allowed to have an NFC team. You're not allowed to have an additional AFC team, Broncos. I don't make the rules. You are a Broncos fan. That's all you get. You don't get to root or like anyone else. So every 4 years, we play the Green Bay Packers, and I have to, and let's just say if my fandom for Broncos is 1,000, my fandom for the Packers is like 700. Okay, so it's not like they're equals by any means, but I love the Pack. Loved them ever since the Broncos beat them in Super Bowl 32 when Mike Holmgren came out and said, and this is right after the game, Colum, he's got to be upset. He just lost a game that he could have won the NFC had gone 13 years in a row. Everything was in their favor. And then here comes John Elway and his upstart Broncos. They beat them, I believe, 31-24. And they come right up to him after the game and they're like, Coach, tough loss. What do you say? And he's like, well, he said, honestly, I don't ever want to lose a game, losing a Super Bowl especially. Goes, but you know what? If you're going to lose, losing to John Elway, it's kind of special, and I'm actually kind of happy for him. And I was just like, holy crap! I just became a Green Bay Packers fan because I love good sportsmanship. It's like it's like one of the things to me that is why I hate the Chiefs and the Raiders and other teams. Like I loved that quote. I love that. I've got a lot of friends that are Packers fans. Some of them are watching the show right now, so salute to you guys. But we already did the analysis.
Do you know who my NFC team are?
Ooh, wait, no, don't tell me. Let me think. It's not Green Bay, right?
Nope.
Okay. So are they in the playoff hunt?
They are.
Okay, so all right, so that's all my hints. Now, I said in the hunt. Dang it, I should have gotten more specific. So let's see. We've got the Rams, Packers, Eagles, Panthers, Seahawks, 49ers, Bears. Now, see, I kind of like the Buccaneers, but I don't remember you talking about the Buccaneers very much. I'm going to say well, it better not be the Rams. Gosh, is it the Lions? Who is it, Colum?
It is not the Lions. It is, get this, it's the antithesis of your pick because you went with the good sportsmanship. It is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles, of course.
Because I spent time in Philly as a young
That's
man.
right.
I was 17, and I spent time in
knew
Philly. And what I love about Philly is Philly. It is wonderfully authentic.
Yeah.
And back in the 90s and early 2000s, all these East Coast cities said, we're going to spruce ourselves up and we want tourists and we're going to look much better. And Philadelphia said, hell no, none of that for us. We are who we are. We're not changing for anybody. This is a team and a fan base that threw snowballs at Santa. And for that, I will always have a place in my heart for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, that's great. You know what? And what's messed up is you told me this maybe a week or two ago, how Philadelphia endeared themselves to you by virtue of just that kind of stuff. And I did not pick it up as your favorite NFC team. So it totally makes sense now. So good on you for that one and for the reasoning. But that's more the fans than it is the team. The team itself has always been kind of a, I don't know, classy organization is probably not the right word, but genuine. They're genuine. They're who they are, and I love them. But here's the moment.
They're in your face.
Yeah, in your face. Here's who we are. Here's the game everybody's waiting for. You heard the analysis. You heard all the reasons at the beginning of the show. If you didn't, go back and watch the beginning of it. Colum had some great stuff there. I didn't, as always, because I'm an idiot. But we do love having you watch the show. Please subscribe. Helps us a ton. Like I said, we just cleared over 1,500, which was a milestone I was shooting for at the end of the season, and we are a few weeks ahead of schedule. So thank you so much. It means the world to us. Broncos at home, 11-2 against the Green Bay Packers. Colum, what do you got? Who do you got and why?
So just before I give the pick, Tanner has suggested Killian Murphy. I see. Good shout. Great shout, Tanner. I have done Killian before. I have. Yeah. So that rules him out. Unfortunately, but a great selection. If you have others, please get them in the chat. For this, you see, Mike is the heart guy. Mike is the guy, who he's all heart. I on the other hand, have a little bit of cynicism. I tend
this is his way of saying he's smarter than me, folks.
No, it's not.
Trying to be nice, but I'm the idiot. He's the smart one, and this is why he's so smart.
No, I just think the McGlinchey injury is a huge piece, and it's the Dobbins injury, and I wish and I hope that RJ Harvey can do it. I just fear that it won't be enough. And I think that we got a comment earlier that it would be the Packers would win by 2 points. That's what I have. We've recorded Dublin to Denver earlier today. And Stuart Roach is like you, Mike. He went with the Broncos, but I said that the Packers are going to win it 19-17. I wish it wasn't the case, but I think that will ultimately be the way it plays out. And I love Tanner's suggestion, and I think that might be not this week, but I think perhaps for Christmas Day against the Chiefs.
I thought you did that once. So I guess I was wrong there. I thought you had used Die Hard before, but maybe not. But yeah, that's a great one. And it is, in fact, a Christmas movie, as is part 2. Colum, I'm going to show you my picks. Here we go. So now, can you see that?
I can see that.
All right. So I've got the Broncos, you traitor, you traitorous fool. Stuart Roach knows. I'm sure he doesn't watch this show. He's just a big shout out, big star, a local celebrity in Dublin. He doesn't have time to watch our show, but you make sure you tell him, Colum, that I was totally in agreement with him. Let me switch back to this other screen because I like this one better. I've got the Broncos winning over Green Bay. They're at home. They're on an 11-game win streak. They're almost unbeatable at home. Sure, this game's a toss-up. Could go either way. I'm going to have the Broncos winning 21-17. They're just going to find a way. It could be 20-17 field goal in there. We got to give Lutz his chance. That's what I'm hopeful for. I'm hoping that's what happens. Looks like I've got the Rams taking over the Lions. Looks like we're pretty much in line here. Now this one surprised me. You took the Dolphins. That looks like that's a classic Carmelini pick. Honestly, you took it though. I went with the Steelers at home. I picked the Bucks, who got beat by Atlanta, so I'll eat that crow. And then now, we've got one other one too. Although I'd love to see the Giants win this game, I have the Commanders winning. So just a few differences there. Not a big deal. That Broncos game, though, that's the one where we're.
I hope you're right. I
agreement.
hope we're talking, and you're like, yeah, I told you. I truly hope that will be the case.
Yeah, I know you want to win that, and I know you want the Broncos to win, as we all do. Any last thoughts on that Broncos game or any of these games in general? What it all means? I guess while you kind of give me a 1,000-foot view, I'd like to bring up the playoff scenarios and update everybody on where we're at with that. So if you have any,
I think it's a really great week actually for football, because there's some, like, I think that Rams Lions game should be fascinating. Look, the Broncos Packers game I think is going to be, and you got two great teams there. I think the Bills Patriots, they've got lots on the line. There's still lots to play for a lot of teams, and they have got to keep winning. The fact that the AFC South is so competitive means that there's an awful lot to play for there. And then even in teams, you've got the Phillip Rivers story. So it's the NFL is the league that keeps giving us storylines and keeps doing things to ensure that we are all sitting watching football on Sunday night.
Well, and we will be. Here's your update. Here's your latest. I mean, the Broncos and Rams are holding at first place. This is what we were talking about. This little situation here, guys. Patriots need to lose to Buffalo. Broncos can lose to the Packers today, and we'll be sitting here right at 1-2. So not do or die, but it would be nice to have a little padding there, especially considering what could happen down here with this Chargers team. If they go to 10-4 and we're at 11-3, it could feel a little more uncomfortable. So as Broncos fans, we know how we need this to play out. But here's your kind of updated playoff picture here, guys. It's very 2013-ish in some ways. Some of the classic stuff is back. In fact, 2015-ish with the Panthers would be up here somewhere. But yeah, not a lot of movement, but there can be a lot of movement based on what happens. And so if you look at your bubble teams, this is probably not going to be an issue. This might not be an issue. So this is why we're wanting these guys just sort of sitting back here. The Chiefs, if they beat the Chargers today, get back to 500, the Colts fall out, they could be right here, one game out. Chiefs have to win out, I believe. So so I guess go Chargers.
Now have to, yeah.
So go Chargers and go Broncos. If Broncos and Chargers both take care of business, Broncos will be just fine. But yeah, it'd be nice to be not tied with the Patriots after this weekend, I guess, big picture stuff too. And Colum, I think after an hour and a half, we could certainly kind of close things out. I would love to do power rankings with you, but maybe we'll we'll
look at that maybe next week, and hopefully someday we'll do one of these in live from a pub. That's the dream.
Okay, well, that's gonna happen. We're gonna do certainly one of these shows will happen in Ireland, whether it's in Dublin or wherever, somewhere. But you'll find the proper pub for us, and we will do it there. And then we'll also do what we call a bar. Perhaps you've heard of that in America. Maybe we'll do one here, and hopefully that happens soon. Colum, any last words out to Broncos country before we get out of here?
Enjoy. This is an opportunity. This team has been on a real journey. You've gotten the experience, right? Bo Nix is now well into his journey of being an NFL QB. Sean Payton at the helm. You want to test yourself against the better teams in the league. The Packers coming in certainly offer that on both sides of the ball. If the Broncos win tomorrow, then I'm sure the national media will try coming up with something, but it gets more difficult and more difficult. I think this is, a litmus test as such, and I hope the Broncos can do it. But those injuries and the lack of a big bruiser, I think ultimately is what comes back to haunt us.
Well, way to end the show on a high note. I mean, I'm so glad I'm here. Here, I'm gonna do us a favor here. Here you go. See that smiling face? He's gonna now give Broncos country a little something to maybe look forward to.
I think the best case scenario is that the national media talked up the Packers back in 2015, and if you were a Broncos fan who remembers that was phenomenal. We beat up Aaron Rodgers and we held him to 77 yards, and this was not, for those of you who are maybe younger, newer to the NFL, this was Aaron Rodgers before all the nonsense, right? So this was prime Aaron Rodgers, where he could make the football do things that people didn't really believe possible. He was so accurate, and the Broncos made him look terrible that night. So the doubts were there then too. The Broncos shut up the Packers, they shut up the national media, and they won a Super Bowl that year.
And the last time the Broncos played the Packers, the Broncos won, and it was a close game. And I believe it was Locke who intercepted Love deep downfield on their last gasp effort to come back and win that game. So I'm sticking with my pick because I'm actually a better person in every respect. As a Broncos fan.
Can I just say that I've just seen, and we knew it was happening, but it has been confirmed that Philip Rivers will start. And I would like us to remember that this is the same team, the same franchise that gave us Jeff Saturday as a head coach, and how they talk that up. So whatever else about the Colts, they continue to give us truly amazing moments, and so that is one to savor, because a 44-year-old man who hasn't played in the NFL in 5 years is going to take the field. Nothing could be more 2025. This is Hunger Games, Squid Games. This is gladiatorial stuff. We're seeing him against a Seattle Seahawks pass rush that is relentless. Yeah, truly, we are in the Coliseum.
It's crazy to me. We already talked about it, but it's crazy to me. And add on to the fact that Philip Rivers looked hobbled and old and slow when he left 4 years ago. So I can't imagine this ending well for them, but good on them. It'll be worth keeping an eye on. Crazy times, as Colin pointed out. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We love you guys. Catch us. So I'll be catch Dublin to Denver. What day's your podcast coming out next week?
Well, we just had our preview drop. So if you are looking for something, you're getting in the car or you're going for a run, you're looking, your kid, you got to drop the kids off somewhere, and you need something to listen to for half an hour. Dublin to Denver, wherever you get your podcasts, available right now.
Yep, that's a great show, and I will be back. Probably not tonight, but the post-game show, the Mile High After Party with David Talks Broncos and Let's Talk Broncos and Mile High Monsters. We all get together after every show. Having just great success with the show. It's the best post-game show you can watch. Please check us out on that. And until then, guys, I guess we'll just say, at least I'll say, go Broncos. We're not sure what Colum's going to say. Maybe I should just cut him off before he even gets a chance. I won't do that to you. Colum, last words?
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Love it.